What up, YouTube? Tim Movies here. Now, since he's in a new film, Dark Waters, which is directed by Todd Haynes, since I decided I should go ahead and do my top 10 favorite Tim Robbins movies, because I've always quite liked Tim Robbins. I always thought he was a cool actor. He's been in some countless really cool projects over the years. I mean, he's been in some really interesting stuff. And he's also in Castle Rock Season 2, which I think he's great in. I mean, I'd be surprised if he don't gain award buzz, because he's actually great on that show. But anyway, with that being said, here's my 10 favorite Tim Robbins movies. Alright. Coming in at number 10, it is the film Nothing to Lose. Now, it stars Robbins as this advertising executive named Nick Bain, who learns that his wife, played by Kelly Preston, is actually having a affair with his employer, played by Michael McCain. And so, he ends up encountering this bumbling thief, played by Martin Lawrence, who ends up attempting carjacking, goes awry. So Nick ends up taking him on a joyride, but soon, the betrayal of the businessman who ends up being betrayed, and the crook ends up striking up a partnership, and they end up developing a robbery revenge game. And there's also other criminals in the areas that also don't really appreciate the competition there too. So it's kind of an interesting bank robbery, heist-based comedy. Now, Robbins and Martin Lawrence, that's kind of a weird, good chemistry for one another, but it actually worked out pretty well. This movie is pretty fun at times. I am a sucker for heist movies, so there's that too. Tim Robbins, Tim Robbins could do comedy really well, and he really proved it with Nothing to Lose. I mean, if you guys haven't seen Nothing to Lose yet, give it a go. It's a really funny comedy. Alright, coming in at number 9, it is the Coen Brothers directed film, The Hudsucker Proxy. Now, it's about this executive named Sidney J. Musburger, played by Paul Newman, who really hopes to take control of the company he works for by purchasing a majority share. But he also must find Devil in the stocks. And so he ends up convincing the broad to appoint this know-nothing recent graduate named Norville Barnes, played by Robbins. But Musburger's plot ends up backfiring when Barnes' latest invention ends up succeeding and all. And he also got he even got Jeff Jason Lee as the name as Robbins' neighbor in this. I mean, it's a really funny film. I mean, it's not really Coen Brothers' best work, nothing like that. But it's pretty decent. It's a very dark comedy. Paul Newman was pretty great in this. The other cast is great. I mean, if you guys haven't seen the Hudsucker Proxy, it's pretty good. Alright. Coming in at number 8, it is Thanks for Sharing. Now, this week, Tim Robbins is in the new movie Dark Waters, which also features Mark Ruffalo. But before that, they also appeared in another movie together, which was this sex addiction movie called Thanks for Sharing. And in it, Tim Robbins plays Mike, who's this recovering sex addict who leads a 12-step program and sponsors Mark Ruffalo's character Adam. And Tim Robbins, he really shined in this. His on-screen chemistry with Mark Ruffalo was pretty great. You also had Brad Paltrow, Josh Gad was in this. You even had Pink. Some really cool cast members was in this. It's really funny. I mean, it is a very nice rom-com. It is a movie about sex. It's not only about sex addiction. Yes, that's the premise of this movie. But it's a really nice little film. If you guys haven't really seen Thanks for Sharing yet, give it a go. It's another good Tim Robbins movie. Alright. Coming in at number 7, it is Shortcuts. Now, in this, it's really like a episodic film that takes that really it's about like 9 short stories. And you got Tim Robbins, who stars as Gene Shepard, who's this cop who is married to this woman named Sherry, who is also having an affair with Betty Weathers. And I mean, Tim Robbins really plays the cop very well here. And I mean, you even have like you got Mally Stowe, who plays his wife. You got Frances McDormand, who plays the woman that his wife is having an affair with. It's directed by Robert Altman, who also directed. Who actually worked with Robbins a whole bunch of times. And Shortcuts is pretty good. It has a really great cast involved. I mean, this is probably one of the coolest casts there is. Like, you got people in this. You got Robert Downey Jr., you got Lily Tomlin, Matthew Modine, the aforementioned Jason Leigh, Jack Lemmon, Andy McDowell. You got Chris Penn in this, Julianne Moore, Lana Lovett. Some really good cast members. And Shortcuts, like, it has some really interesting stories involved. But I think out of all of them, the Tim Robbins story is actually the better one, in my opinion. But if you guys haven't really seen Robert Altman's Shortcuts yet, it's a really good flick. Cool cast as well, I mean. Alright. Coming in at number 5, it is Mystic River. Oh no, my bad. Number 6, I meant to say, I almost skipped 6, my bad. Anyway, number 6, it is Bob Roberts. Now, Tim Robbins actually made his big screen directorial debut with this political satire film. And in it, it's about like this right-wing folk singer turned candidate named Bob Roberts, played by Robbins, who tried to campaign this one honest reporter, played by Giancarlo Esposito, tried to expose the politician as a fraud and all. And it's a really funny political film with some really cool cast members. I mean, and I've already said this, but this was actually Tim Robbins' directorial debut, and he did a pretty good job with his directing film. People also got other people you got in this includes Alan Rickman, Sue Sarandon, who of course they were married, so obviously they've worked together loads of times. You also had Jack Black was in this, Helen Hunt, James Spader, Gore Vidal, David Schaffer. Some really good cast members. I mean, it's really funny. It's really hilarious. It's really cool political satire-based movie. If you guys never seen Bob Roberts, give it a go. It is another one of Tim Robbins' best work. And it kind of makes me want to see him direct again. I mean, it's been a while since he's ever been behind the camera. Alright, now number 5, it is the Clint Eastwood film, Mystic River. Now, this film stars Sean Penn as this ex-con, while you got Tim Robbins, who plays Dave Boyle, who's like a ex-con, and you got Kevin Bacon, who plays this police detective, and it's where Sean Penn's character, Jimmy Marcus, his daughter ends up getting killed in this, and his daughter is played by Shameless star Emmy Rossum. And so this is also like a murder mystery film, trying to find out who was responsible for killing the daughter here. And Tim Robbins and Sean Penn, they work pretty well together. You also had Lawrence Fishburne was also in this. Marsha Gay Harden. I mean, this movie also scored an Oscar nomination for Best Picture, but it lost out to Return of the King, which this is going to be unpopular to say, but I think Mr. River was a better film that year. I mean, Return of the King was okay, don't get me wrong. But I still kind of prefer Mr. River and think that should won Best Picture, but that's tough for another day. I mean, and Robbins really like very covers the damage afflicted here. And he really like I thought Robbins nailed every moment like he's on screen, and like his on-screen chemistry with Penn and Bacon. I mean, all three of them were like best friends, but then they went separate ways and became and went like to the different side of the laws. I mean, it's a really good murder mystery film. Like, yeah, if you guys never seen the Clint Eastwood movie Mr. Murray yet, go give it a go. It's a really great film. Alright, coming in at number 4, it is Jacob's Ladder. Now, it stars Tim Robbins, who plays like this Vietnam vet named Jacob Singer. And he also has a PTSD, and there's like some creepy, sinister moments that happens between them. And it's directed by fan attraction director Adrian Lyne. You also got people like Elizabeth Payne's in this. You've got Macaulay Culkin, Danny Aiello, Louis Black, Kyle Gass, Bing Rames. Some really interesting cast members in this. Now, they recently did a reboot of it with Michael Ealy, which I still haven't seen, but that kind of looks horrible. But the original Jacob's Ladder with Tim Robbins is really cool. It's a very psychological thriller, a great performance by Robbins, by the other cast. I mean, it's a very creepy cult film. If you guys haven't seen Jacob's Ladder yet, go give it a go. I mean, it's part like it has part 1, it has part of horror in it. I mean, really great psychological effect. Alright. And he knew Tim Robbins could do a horror film so well. I mean, he really nailed it here. Alright, coming in at number 3, it is Bull Durham. Now, this is yet another movie that stars Robbins and Susan Sarandon. And in it, you got Kevin Costner, who plays this baseball league player named Crash Davis, who's about to set to the singer A. Durham's Bulls for the... and so, like, he ends up training this young pitcher named Abby Nuke LaLuche, played by Robbins, who's just controlling... who's, like, very controlling in his pitching. And you also got Susan Sarandon, who plays this character named Annie, who's this baseball group who's like under the guise of us, of having fun with her new players. And so like there's a like love triangle that happens between the two, or I should say between the three. It's a really good baseball film. I mean, it mixes like interesting stuff, like it mixes baseball, romance, and comedy, and drama, or each of one. Kevin Costner and Susan Sarandon were both excellent in this movie. Tim Robbins was pretty great. Great baseball scenes. I mean, it's really nice, well put together rom-com. If you guys haven't seen Bull Durham, it's a really good one. I mean, it was actually one of the movies that really put Robbins into the spotlight for most people. And like he's been doing like films like since the 80s and all, and he's great in Bull Durham. Definitely go check that one out. Alright. Coming in at number 2, it is another Robert Altman directed movie, and that is The Player. Now, it stars Robbins as this film studio executive named Griffin Mill, who ends up like listing 2 scripts pitched all day, and he also only approves like 12 scripts a year. And so, like, he is also receiving death threat postcards as well, and it's really a movie about Hollywood, I guess you could put it that way as well. And so, like, you also got, like, a new person at the studio named Larry Levy, who's, like, trying to ace him out and all. And now, this movie was actually Robert Altman's first, studio film in years. Of course, Altman has been best known for doing the Robin Williams film Popeye. He's done, like, loads of other stuff. But The Player is really decent. Like, it has some great cast members and lots of interesting cameos. I mean, people you got in this includes Vincent D'Onofrio, Fred Ward, Whoopi Goldberg, Nick Nolte, Jeff Goldblum, Burt Reynolds, Karen Black. You had Susan Sarandon, Bruce Willis. Some really interesting cast members popped up. I mean, Julia Roberts even popped up. Like, yeah, some interesting, cool cameos here. It's a really funny film about the screenwriter job and how much of a pain in the ass the screenwriter job could get. And I thought Altman did a pretty good job at directing this. Like, this is probably one of my favorite Robert Altman movies he's done, and this movie actually scored loads of award buzz. I mean, it got lots of Golden Globe buzz. I think it scored some Oscar buzz, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, The Player is a really funny, interesting satire about Hollywood, and it's really good. If you guys haven't seen The Player yet, go check that one out. All right, now my number one favorite Tim Robbins movie of all time obviously goes to The Shawshank Redemption. Now, this is also my favorite Morgan Freeman movie of all time, so leave that with a grain of salt. And it stars Tim Robbins as Andy DeFrance, who's this who has been like convicted of murdering his wife and her lover in 1947, and he ends up being receiving 2 life sentences to the Shawshank State Prison in Maine, and there he ends up being this contraband. He ends up being Morgan Freeman's character, who's this smuggler, who's also has become convicted, and then, the two ends up becoming friends and all. Shawshank Redemption is obviously one of the greatest motion pictures of all time. It's a movie about prison, a movie about friendship between like Freeman and Robbins both really work well together. I mean, it's also funny that Tim Robbins is in the new season of Castle Rock, because one of the key players in Castle Rock is the Shawshank Prison, which I always found to be pretty funny. Like, technically, Tim Robbins is in another Stephen King based thing, and he's also in something else that features the Shawshank Prison, which I kind of find that should be pretty cool. Maybe they'll get Morgan Freeman in season 3. Who knows? Anyway, yeah, Tim Robbins, to me, it's definitely the best work he's ever done. I mean, the guy's, of course, done, like, loads of other stuff beforehand, but if you really want to look at it, this was actually the movie that really made lots of people, look at Tim Robbins and became a fan of him, and I believe he also scored an Oscar nomination for this, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta double check that. But the movie was also directed by Frank Darabont, who did a great job of directing. Yeah, really terrific film. One of the best motion pictures there is. I mean, if you guys never really seen Shawshank Redemption by now, give it a go. It's a 90s class right there. Alright. That's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. 10, Nothing to Lose. 9, The Hudsucker Proxy. 8, Thanks for Sharing. 7, Shortcuts. 6, Bob Roberts. 5, Mystic River. 4, Jacob's Ladder. 3, Bull Durham. 2, The Player. 1, The Shawshank Redemption. Now, he's done loads of other stuff over the years as well. Let me pull up his credit list. Alright, he was also in D-Rage on Top Gun, which I always keep forgetting he was in that. He was also in War of the Worlds, which also had Tom Cruise in it. Dead Man Walking, another film with Susan Sarandon in it. Tenacious D, he was in. Zafira. He was also in the Ron Reynolds Green Lantern film. Arlington Road with Jeff Bridges. Mission to Mars. He appeared in Howard the Duck, remember that one? Cadillac Man. Life of Crime. He was in another film with Jack Black in it called High Fidelity. City of Amber. IQ. He was in Austin Paris in The Spy Who Shagged Me. That's a good one. Jungle Fever. Marjorie Prime. I mean, he's been on some really interesting stuff. I mean, he's also been some not so good stuff either, but he's a great actor. So, anyway. Let me leave it with you guys. What are some of your favorite Tim Robbins movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. This here is Tim Robbins signing off.